Welcome to Inside Insight, your quick hit of tips, tools, and trends for manufacturing, distribution, and Dynamics 365 Business Central, brought to you by InsightWorks.
Ever find yourself just staring at Business Central, waiting for data to import? Or maybe wrestling with those complicated Excel files?
Yeah, it's a common headache. We've all been there.
We really have. So today, we're diving into making that whole process, well, hopefully a lot easier and definitely faster.
Exactly. We've been looking into this free tool from InsightWorks, the Import Export PowerTool.
Right.
And its whole mission, really, is just to make data migration in BC smoother, less fuss.
Okay, less fuss sounds good. So the headline number I saw was, what, up to 30 times faster than RapidStart?
That's the benchmark they're putting out there, yeah.
Yeah.
Based on their tests. And it's a pretty significant claim.
30 times. I mean, think about that. A job that takes, say, 4 hours could potentially be done in like under 10 minutes.
Something like that, potentially.
Yeah.
It bypasses some of RapidStart's complexities, especially with large data sets. That's where the speed really comes in.
And it doesn't force you into Excel, right? I saw something about text files.
Correct. You can use Excel if you want, but it also works great with just plain tab-delimited text files. You can even edit them in something basic like Notepad++.
Okay, that's flexible. And it tackles more than just the standard tables, doesn't it? Our sources mentioned it can get into areas usually off limits.
That's a really key point. If you have the necessary permissions, and that's crucial, you can actually work with tables like, say, Atom ledger entries directly.
Wow, okay, so direct access to ledger entries. That gives you a lot more control.
It does, which naturally brings up the question of who this is really built for.
Right, sounds powerful. The info we saw definitely points towards, developers, consultants, maybe power users. People comfortable under the hood of BC.
Precisely. It's not really for the casual user. It assumes you understand the data structures. It lets you export, import, update, and even delete data.
Ooh, delete. That sounds potentially risky.
It absolutely can be. You need to be careful, use filters wisely, and again, have the right permissions assigned in Business Central. The tool respects BC security.
Good to know. So, practically speaking, how does it work? Walk us through the basics.
Sure. So first, you grab it from AppSource. Standard install.
Microsoft's App Store, basically.
Yep. And then, honestly, the very first thing you should do is configure the user permissions for the tool itself. Don't skip that.
Right. Permissions first. Always.
Then, say you want to get data out. You can export whole configuration packages, those bundles of tables.
Yeah, the standard way.
Or you could just pick individual tables. And it spits out these clean, tab-delimited text files. Fast.
And those text files are easier to handle than the package file.
Oh, much easier. You just open them in Notepad plus Excel, whatever, make your changes directly in the data. No need to mess with the configuration package structure itself.
I see. So edit the text, then what?
Then you just point the tool to that file to port it back into another BC environment, sandbox, test, production, wherever.
And it's not just for bulk migrations. You mentioned updates and deletes.
Exactly. You can use filters to make very precise changes.
Oh.
Update specific records, delete incorrect entries, maybe even trigger some logic if needed, even in places where there isn't like a regular page in BC to do it.
That sounds incredibly useful. Can you give some real-world examples where this would be a lifesaver?
Oh, definitely. Think about quickly populating a sandbox with production data for testing, or fixing a batch of incorrect item ledger entries without needing a developer to write code.
Okay, that's huge.
Or importing serialized items and having it generate the lot numbers automatically. Even loading historical data without using slow general journals. Stuff like that. Big time savers.
With all that power, especially the update and delete, how safe is it? You mentioned permissions, but anything else?
Well, like I said, it fully respects your standard Business Central permission sets. That's the main thing. But the tool also provides filters so you only touch the data you intend to. Plus, there are confirmation prompts you can enable. And you have control down to the field level to help prevent accidental overwrites or deletions. It's designed to give power, but controlled power.
Okay, so the big takeaway here seems to be it's powerful, it's flexible, and crucially, it's free. No user limits, no hidden costs.
That's right, completely free. It seems really aimed at consultants, developers, integrators, anyone who's frequently moving or manipulating data within Business Central.
So if you're listening and you spend way too much time on data migration or data fixes in BC,
yeah, this could genuinely change how you work.
Then the call to action is pretty simple. Go to AppSource, search for the Import Export PowerTool by InsightWorks, and give it a try.
Absolutely. And maybe just, think about how much time you get back on your next project, how much frustration you could avoid. It seems well worth the zero cost of admission.